97.5 The Fanatic and 97.
Chance, $1,000 on the line. All you have to do is text the word fortune, 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 to 45911, or you can enter it on the Fanatic app or at 975thefanatic.com. One winner selected at random will win $1,000 in this company-wide contest. Winners will get a call from Beasley, so make sure you answer your phone. Complete rules at 975thefanatic.com. 97.5 The Fanatic signing bonuses presented by Rand Spear, the accident lawyer. Demand Rand for justice. Please never text and drive. That's fortune to 45911. And as always, good luck.
Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Hey, good morning, Delaware Valley and beyond. Happy Friday. Hope you're having a great one. Hope your work week is almost all behind you, or maybe for some of you it is all behind you. But wherever you are, we hope you're having a great day as we are on the cusp of the 76ers and New York Knicks facing off each other in the first round of the NBA playoffs. We're lucky today to be joined by Bill Colarulo once again. Bill, how are you today?
All good, man. Getting fired up for the Sixers, that's for sure.
It's a lot of fun. Love, playoff, anything. And we are about to enter at 6 o'clock tomorrow night. So we'll be talking an awful lot of your 76ers against those New York Knicks. I made a mistake yesterday, boys. Ray, how are you today?
I'm doing great,
Are
Bob.
you okay? All
Yes. Doing wonderful.
Ray took a header last night in a softball game, Bill.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It was bad. It was real bad. We'll talk about it a little bit.
We'll
but
talk
yeah,
about it later.
We'll make
We'll
fun
get
of him
into it.
later. But yesterday I gave you a number, and it was wrong. It was wrong. I gave you 91. And that was, I said to you, if that's a grade by my kids, I'd be happy. But I had that as what the Sixers average against the Knicks. No, was I wrong? It's actually 86.5. That's how many points the Sixers averaged against the New York Knicks this year. We have the game breakdowns of all of those. And in an hour, we're going to be joined by everybody. Every host that you have here at the station pretty much is going to be coming in for an hour discussion about the Sixers and the Knicks. But before we get to all of that, we got to go through the front page.
Now, the front page. The stories everyone's talking about. 97.5, The Fanatic.
That's right. Your Sixers take on the New York Knicks tomorrow night at Madison Square Garden. 6 o'clock game. This is going to be a really tough series, and I think the morning show was talking about it a little bit also. Talking to friends of mine, it's just been an ugly 4 games this year against the New York Knicks. Now, you didn't have Joel Embiid. We know what the Tom Thibodeau teams are all about, but environment's going to come into play, and New York is really hyped about this basketball team, about the way Jalen Brunson is playing. That is going to be a big thing, trying to get one of those two. It's just like every other series in every sport. The underdog, which would be the Sixers because they're playing there. They're the 7th seed. The Knicks are the 2nd, so we'll call them the underdog. They got to take one of two. You have to leave New York on Monday having won at least one of those games. There's some big advantages, I think, for the Sixers, mainly that number 21 in the middle. They're going to throw a couple of guys at him trying to keep him off his game, but I do think this should be a series where Joel Embiid really does shine. Coaching advantage? Well, that's going to be a discussion we're going to have with Bill later on, because in Tom Thibodeau, there is that, the guy works his teams to death and all that, but he's a good coach, and he's got this team playing really well. So is the advantage towards Nick Nurse or not? We'll talk about all that. Going to have a bigger impact. This is interesting because Jalen Brunson has to control the game for the New York Knicks. And with the ball in his hand and getting where he wants to go and getting the ball to his teammates where they want it, that is how he controls the game. Joel Embiid more so controls the game by dominance, by scoring, by rebounding, by playing defense at the rim. Which star player is going to have a bigger impact on this series? And how does the series schedule favor anybody? Is a question I want to put out there later on today. 4 games in 9 days. That's not too bad. And if you're the 76ers with an older Nick Batum, an older Kyle Lowry, Joel Embiid coming back from injury, maybe that's good for them. Your Philadelphia Phillies, 7-3 in their last 10 games, coming off of a sweep of the Colorado Rockies. Their starting pitching this season, it's been pretty good. And they play tonight at 6:40 at home. Our own Ray Dunn is going to be in. Anything goes bad, we know who to blame. Where are you with your concerns and happiness so far with this Phillies team? Is it just where you thought they would be? Are they fine? They're on pace, as we talked about the other day, Bill. They're on pace for 94 wins right now. That's a pretty good season. Probably more than a lot of people would have bet. I had them at 97, but we'll see. And are our concerns about the Phillies, and we talked about it a little bit yesterday, and maybe we'll get into it more today, like the Nick Castellanos and all, are your concerns outweighing what is good so far? Spencer Turnbull goes tonight. He's 1-0 with a 1.80 ERA, another one of those great starting pitchers that these Philadelphia Phillies have. They play, I believe, 18 games in the next days. So, barring any bad weather, there's going to be a lot of baseball being played. Zach Wheeler gets an extra day of rest. So, as does pretty much everybody, so that's a good thing going there. The Flyers, John Tortorella is speaking today at 11 a.m. along with Danny Briere. I don't know if Keith Jones is going to be there or not. I didn't see his name on there, but We'll have a little of that audio towards the end of the show because I'm really interested in what John Tortorella has to say about the season, about his players, but more so than anything, just in my book, I'm anxious to see what John Tortorella says about his own performance this year and how satisfied or dissatisfied he was with himself. We'll sum up the season with him. We'll have reaction to what all they said. The Eagles, Thursday is draft day. It's coming. If you guys out there listening right now could see the notebook that Bill Colarulo has about the draft, about the Eagles, I don't know if I've ever been more impressed. It's labeled with colors and oh my God, it's just unbelievable. Very, very impressive. So we'll get on into all that. And how confident are you that the Eagles will stay at number 22? We'll get into that with Bill a little bit because it is a Sixers mostly day. But I do want to talk to Bill leading into, Monday we start to go full bore into the draft too, besides our Sixers. But I wonder what Bill has to say about that. Do they stay at 22? So there it is. There's your front page news. That's what's going on here. Bill, confidence level right now as a 10:08 on a Friday morning when the Sixers open up tomorrow night, where is it?
I think they're going to win the series, but I'm not overly confident. It's going to be a physical series, a tough series. If they can get past the Knicks, not that I'm trying to look ahead, but if they get past the Knicks, I think the second round matchup is going to be easier than this round. I think this is a tough series for the Sixers, but I think at the end of the day, when you look at the rosters, the Sixers have the better team, and we'll get into the coaching in a second, but I expect them to win. But it's going to be a battle.
It's going to be a battle, no doubt about it. Ray, confidence level. Here it is, early Friday morning. We're getting all pumped for the weekend. We have a pregame show that we're doing from 3 to 6 tomorrow, me, Dee, and Tyrone. We have all the guests, bunch of guests coming in, hosts, I should say, at 11 o'clock today. From 11 to 12, we have a huge roundtable. Tyrone's going to be here. Ricky's going to be here. John, Andrew. We're going to talk all about this Sixers-Knicks series. But what's your confidence level right now, Ray?
I've ridden the roller coaster with the confidence level of yesterday coming in post-win over the Heat, feeling like, you know what, they were able to gut that out. They were able to get that victory. I don't think I see another game this postseason where Maxey and Embiid combined for 42 points, and they won that game somehow. That had me feeling pretty good. Went and talked to my friends yesterday about the game after this show. Slowly started to drop a little bit in that confidence meter. Woke up this morning, and you know what? I'm feeling pretty confident. Honestly, and I think it's from a place of the unknown, and I think that's something that we're going to get into as we look at this series and look at what's coming up for this team and what this matchup means later on. But I think I've found that confidence again. Confidence is a weird thing because I'm confident in what they can do, but I know what sits in front of them, and I think that if I was in New York right now, I would be probably just as confident.
Well, it's funny you bring that up about your confidence going up and down. So we took a poll yesterday. Right? Were you encouraged by that Sixers win, or were you discouraged by the way they played? And I think it played out. I don't know if you remember the percentages, Ray. It was something like 70% maybe said they were encouraged.
Yeah,
or more.
68% were saying that they were encouraged by the comeback. 32 saying they were discouraged.
Okay, so as you guys know, I got a group of friends that we talk all the time, and it's a lot of time about sports. So yesterday, I got a call right as I left here from one of my boys, and he's like, "Yeah, what the hell was that yesterday?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Sixers that was awful. They didn't play well." But boom, and I was like, "Okay, there's a discouraged person." I made it in my mind. I said, "You know what? I'm going to call a lot of my boys and find out what they thought of the game." Overwhelmingly discouraged at the way they played. Now, does past bias come into play? Like, oh, Joel Embiid, here we go again, or he's not going to live up to what he did during the regular season. I was kind of surprised at that, Bill. I was kind of surprised that, and now look, you have a group of friends. I got a huge group of friends. They're sports people. This isn't like just reactionary, oh, I barely know the sport, I'm going to say it. They're concerned.
I think you hit the nail on the head with past bias. I really do. And I said this yesterday on the show that I think a lot of people are jaded and have post-traumatic stress from what they've seen over the last few seasons. But this is a different team. It's a different coached team. We talked a lot yesterday about some of the things Nick Nurse did down the stretch of that game against the Miami Heat. And when it mattered most, in the fourth quarter, your players that you needed to show up showed up. Joel Embiid played really well in the fourth quarter. and they won a game against a tough team in a must-win, quote-unquote must-win, because it was only a one-game series. I understand the people who say they're discouraged because of what they've witnessed in the past, but I think you have to put that aside. It's a completely different team than what we've seen. I know some of the players are the same, but it's a different team.
That's another key. That's another key. It is a completely different team, but what is the biggest thing that is the same? And that's Joel Embiid. And that's what I think some people were going to. But my argument was exact. I followed the lawyer's advice from yesterday, and I gave out the numbers of Embiid that you gave out in the fourth quarter. That, yeah, he looked tired and all, but come fourth quarter, he had you 11 points. He went 3 for 5 from the floor. He hit a couple of threes. He grabbed rebounds. And another talking point of this team, the depth. And, Bill, you said it's a completely different team. That third quarter, the other night against the Miami Heat, Sixers scored 30 points in the third quarter, 17 by reserves. Nick Batum and Buddy Hield combined for 17 of the 30 in that third quarter. You scored 66 points in the second half. I agree. I rewatched highlights and all that stuff yesterday. That first half was so ugly. Was that a case of the Sixers not playing to themselves? Was it a case to Miami? Whatever you want to say it was, it makes that second half resurgence look even better.
And I don't remember the exact stats, but what was it, 11 turnovers in the first half, 4 in the second half?
12 in the first half that led to 17 Miami points.
And then they cleaned it up in the second half, and that's the most important thing. And we've been frustrated with the Sixers team in the past because down the stretch, they failed to show up. Well, now they show up down the stretch, and people are saying, oh, but they didn't look good the first half. They won the game. They played really well in the second half, and we can put that behind us. It's a brand-new series now. New York Knicks, 7 games. That was just a one-game series. Now we have a true 7-game series, and like I said, I'm confident, but I'm not overly confident because I do think it's going to be a tough matchup. And I wanted to ask you, looking forward to the Knicks, OG Anunoby. Why are they so much better with him in the lineup? Because you look at his stats, it's not like he's lighting the world on fire. He's averaging 14 points a game, 4 rebounds, 1 block, 1 assist. Do you know they're 20-3 with OG in the lineup?
Yep, sure do. Yeah, he's considered a defensive gem. You know, one of those guys that you put on anybody. He has the size and quickness and know-how to cover a guard if he has to, a shooting guard if he has to cover a power forward or shooting forward, whatever it may be. He's what that is and what that team needed. I was reading stories about him yesterday, and one of the players said, you know, he's always in the right spot defensively. Somebody else said, not just that, he's always in the right spot, period. It seems like it's a perfect fit. You know, with Tom Thibodeau, you're going to get a guy that wants you to play 48 minutes of hard, go as hard as you can basketball. And some guys some guys might not meet his eye test of it. Doesn't. OG Anunoby, it's weird. He doesn't look like he's going 1,000%, but he's always there. He's such a key piece. I'm glad you brought that up because I had in my notes also that they're 20-3. When he got to the Knicks, he was out for a little bit with that elbow, had to have elbow surgery and all. But since he's been in that lineup,
since he's been back, they're 8-1 since he came back from injury. But you look at their winning percentage with him, 870. We talk about how good the Sixers are with Joel. Their winning percentage is 795 with Joel in the lineup. So these are two important pieces. And both teams, we've talked about the benefit that the Knicks don't have a lot of film on this Sixers team with Joel and some of these new pieces. Well, there's not a lot of film on the Knicks either with OG in the lineup because he's only played 23 games.
Yeah. So that, and in the 4 times that they played this year, Joel Embiid didn't play 3 of the games. And that, that's big. You can throw numbers out there. I heard John saying this morning that, well, Milwaukee can score against them, Boston can score against them. Well, Milwaukee and Boston had Giannis and Jason Tatum to play in those games. 3 of the 4 games, Joel Embiid wasn't there. One of the games, it was just Maxi's, first game, second game back from concussion. He wasn't at 100%. In another game, you had Tobias Harris tweak an ankle. He had to leave early. It's just been weird. The numbers, and I'll throw them out there, especially in the 11 o'clock hour when we have everybody coming in. But the numbers are weird. But one of the numbers that scared me a little bit, Bill, that I came up with 4 meetings that these teams have had this year, by average, the New York Knicks, and yes, Joel Embiid wasn't there, but by average, the Knicks out-rebounded the Sixers 57-42.
Wow.
Second chance, we talked about it the other night, second chance points, all of those things. You just can't have that in a playoff series, especially one. If you had one word, Bill, let me ask you this. If you had one word to describe this series coming up, what do you think it would be?
Physical.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a physical matchup. But what I'm really looking forward to see, and I know a lot of fans are, and maybe it'll be hard because he's not necessarily 100%. But we keep seeing Joel Embiid perform better in the regular season than he does in the playoffs. And I was looking at the numbers. 2022, he averaged close to 31 points a game in the regular season. That drops to 24 in the playoffs. Last year, he's averaging over 33 points in the regular season. That drops to under 24 points in the playoffs. Can he keep that game? Can he keep his scoring? Because now on the opposite side of the court, Jalen Brunson, complete opposite. 2022, averaged 16 points a game in the regular season, elevated his game over 21 points a game in the playoffs. 2023, 24 points a game in the regular season, elevated his game to close to 28 points in the playoffs. To me, that's what I think is going to be a key. Can Joel Embiid consistently score the way he has in the regular season in the playoffs? Because we know defense gets ramped up. People start playing tougher in the playoffs. I got to see Joel show us that he could still drop close to 30 points a game, and he didn't do it in that play-in tournament necessarily.
Yeah, you're going to have Isaiah Hartenstein on him and Mitchell Robinson on Joel Embiid, and I think that's just a case where they're going to bully up on him, taking turns. You don't worry about fouls when you're either one of those guys. If you have to foul him, you foul him, whatever. It raises the question, and I'm going to put this out there to you. It'll be the first topic of discussion that we have today at 610-632-0975. Is Joel Embiid's type of game, when concentrated on in the playoffs, easier to shut down than other stars in the league? He's not, I don't want to say dominant. Numbers say he's dominant, but physically dominant. I mean, do you get up on him easier in the playoffs? You don't leave him open for three-pointers. You don't leave him open for that mid-range. You're more right on into him. Do you force him to go more to a power game, which was a dribble drive and go to the rim? Is that easier in the playoffs to stop star players? I think it's a big question going into this series because I look at Jalen Brunson. He is the Knicks star player. He's going to get wherever he wants on the court. That's how good he is, and that's how crafty he is, and he has the ball in his hands more often than anybody else. He's going to get where he wants to go. Can Joel Embiid get where he wants to go? Is part of the reason that his playoff numbers are down, like you just said, Bill. Is it because he's easier to shut down on a concentration of defense in the playoffs? So we got that. We have a whole lot more coming up on the show today. I'll pose that question out there to Bill, see what he has to say. And you too, 610-632-0975. You can call, you can text, whatever you want to do. Midday shows, Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Sixers Knicks starts this weekend. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by True Green. If you want a great-looking lawn, contact True Green today. All you have to do is water and mow. Sign up by April 20th to get one application free with an annual plan. Restrictions apply. The 76ers open up the first round of the NBA playoffs up in New York. The matchup Knicks, who really had the Sixers number this season. Sixers 1-3 against them this year, averaging 86.5 points per game against them. Joel Embiid only played in one of the games against the Knicks this year, all the way back in January. And it's not Embiid that's the big man making headlines as we go into this series. It's Paul Reed, who made waves on Thursday, joining FanDuel TV, and he had this to say.
I feel like we ain't ducking no smoke, but yeah, we wanted the Knicks matchup. Of course, that's the easier team, I guess. But, it's going to be fun. We match up pretty well with them. They got a great guard.
Well, we get to see how they match up with them coming up Saturday at 6 o'clock for the first game of the 7-game series. You can hear that game live right here on The Fanatic and right here on The Fanatic, an extended pregame show with Tyrone Johnson, Bob Cooney, and D. Lynham starting at 3 o'clock. keep all of your Sixers action here on 97.5 The Fanatic. And for the Phils, they open up a series with the White Sox tonight. Chicago's been bad. 3-15 this year. Worst offensive team in Major League Baseball. Phillies won 5 of the last 7. Go get a win tonight. I'm Ray Dunn. Breaking sports news all day, every day is here. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
The Talk Stars have a lot to say about the Sixers and the Knicks. Check out the 97.5 Talk Stars special. This morning at 11, Bob Cooney, John Kincade, Andrew Salciunas, Tyrone Johnson, and Ricky Vitalico. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Hey, the NBA play-in tournament gives teams a chance to play their way into the postseason, as we just saw the other day. So it only seems right that new customers on FanDuel, in partnership with Valley Forge, can play their way into $150. All you have to do is place any $5 bet, and you'll get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose, that you can use during the NBA playoffs. So many great things to bet on. Hey, you can go future and bet on a series, or keep it within the game. You can bet the point totals, the line of the game, over, under, and points, anything you want to do. Even go to an individual player, and you can go points, assists, rebounds, or combine them all, whatever you want. Just go to FanDuel.com/Bob. That's FanDuel.com/Bob to get it all started. 21 plus and present in Pennsylvania. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, guys, it's baseball season, so I'm going to give you a hypothetical. It's the bottom of the ninth, the bases are loaded, and there's 2 outs. Are you heading to the plate with a pool noodle or a baseball bat? You're heading to the plate with a baseball bat, but why in the bedroom are you trying to hit a home run with a pool noodle? Well, that's what you're doing when you're not using Blue Chew. Blue Chew is the first chewable. It has the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, and the Vardenafil has a new mint flavor. But it comes at a fraction of the cost. It's also one-stop shopping, because when you go to BlueChew.com, you're meeting with a licensed medical professional right there on the website, and then the chewables are shipped to your door in a discreet package. But here's the best part. They're so confident in their product, they want to give you a month's supply for free. All they're asking you to do is cover the $5 shipping. And the way to get that is to go to BlueChew.com, and they're going to ask you for a promo code. You just have to enter the word Fanatic. Guys, if you want to hit a home run, turn your pool noodle into a Louisville Slugger with Blue Chew. That's BlueChew.com. Use promo code Fanatic.
Ricky Bo here, and buying MLB tickets just got simple. Game Time, an authorized ticket marketplace. Major League Baseball makes getting tickets fast and easy. Have you ever wanted to get to the game, but the ticket prices were just insane, or you can't find tickets anywhere? Guys, the app is amazing. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, and views from your seat, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets or tickets to any kind of event. Plus, the Game Time lowest price guarantee. Yeah, you heard me. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. It's a no-brainer. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code FASTBALL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and use code FASTBALL for $20 off. Go to gametime.co, no M, or download the Game Time app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Free. Who doesn't love free? With MyLowe's Rewards, you get the member-only treatment that's actually worth it. Enjoy free member gifts you'll love. And once you reach Silver Key status, you can get free standard shipping. Because Lowe's knows nothing feels better than free. Learn more about our new loyalty program at Lowe's.com/MyLowe's Rewards today. Program subject to terms and conditions. See Lowe's.com/terms for details. Member gifts may be subject to additional terms and restrictions. See Lowe's.com/shipping terms for details. Subject to change.
At Progressive, we know money can't buy happiness. But money did buy your boat, where you find peace fishing, unlike at home with 3 teenage daughters. Because fish never argue about who stole whose crop top, or get mad the other fish used up all the hot water. No, They just swim around, never embarrassed to be seen with you in public. So save money by bundling your boat or RV insurance with home or auto from Progressive. And buy more happiness, or something close to it. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers, not available in all states.
When the temperature goes up and your AC goes down, you'll do whatever it takes to get it up and running again. Bryant Heating and Air Conditioning is celebrating 120 years of innovation, all while keeping you cool for a price that won't make you sweat. With limited time financing offers and rebates up to $650, there's never been a better time to call your local Bryant Heating and Air Conditioning contractor. Visit nopaybryant.com to find a pro near you. Bryant, whatever it takes.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients. Today, Morgan & Morgan has more offices, more staff, and more lawyers than any other injury firm in the world.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Don't skip breakfast, skip the line. For a limited time, save 20% on your first online order at manhattanbagel.com. Start fresh at Manhattan Bagel with made-to-order sandwiches, fresh cracked eggs on the grill, and authentic New York-style bagels. Participating locations only.
Business. It's all the things that keep this world turning. And behind every one of these companies is a partner helping to keep it all moving. It's why the local flower shop and your favorite pizza joint, the startup and the stadium, hospitals and hotels, banks and restaurants nationwide all choose the advanced network, cybersecurity solutions, and round-the-clock trusted partnership from Comcast Business, the company that powers more businesses than anyone else. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Restrictions apply. Call or visit ComcastBusiness.com to learn more.
This is Philadelphia's station for breaking sports news. Powered by Lundy Law, your injury lawyers. Visit LundyLaw.com.
That's LundyLaw.com.
97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Coming up at 2, the best show ever with Tyrone Johnson, Ricky Batalico, and Jen Scordo. Right now, it's Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Welcome back. Hope you're having a great Friday. Hope the weekend has something great in store for you. Bill, besides watching sports and all, and being here, I guess you can't have any big plans for the weekend, can you?
No, not this weekend. I'll be here on Saturday and Sunday morning, watching the Sixers game Saturday night, listening to your pregame show. So that's all I'm doing. Sports all weekend long.
Not bad. I mean, that can be. Ray tried to play sports last night, Bill. So he had a softball game. And, for some reason they were short a base, so third base was actually a piece of cardboard. And so Ray, being the jackrabbit that he is, was going from first to home on a double and rounded third and stepped on said piece of cardboard, and he went flying.
Yeah, I went flying. Yep. I got pretty far down the third base line before balance totally went. Yeah,
and they got you out.
Yeah, well, it was funny because I stood up and the guy had the ball at the plate and he's like,
felt guilty.
Well, he's like, I just want to tag it, and I thought about running back to third. I'm like, I can't get in a rundown. Softball rules, you go a certain way, they don't like you, whatever. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna try the avoiding slide, and I just dove at the guy and he tagged me. He was like, come on, man, really? I was like, listen, I want to try and score. It's not my fault.
You're like the Phillies with that base running, man.
Well, it was good base running. It was just poor execution on the base running. It was a good process, bad result. I was going to score if I hadn't slipped. I've never slipped like that in my life. And I'm in a little bit of pain today, I'll be honest.
Is your league pretty serious?
No.
Well,
we take it very serious.
All right.
But, I feel bad even saying that because if there's anyone from my team listening right now, what do you mean it's not serious?
Yeah. Did you play any men's softball at all?
I was at a Archer and Griner, a law firm over in South Jersey, my first job out of law school, and there was a lawyer softball league, and I played in that one year, and I was like, you know what? I'm done.
Yeah, ours was serious.
Yeah.
I mean, you get into the championships, there's hundreds of people lined up on it was like an event. It was really cool. I miss those days. Love those days. Actually, it's funny. I'm going to get together with some guys that we used to play softball together in a couple of weekends. We were just talking about it. So.
I did men's league ice hockey forever.
Yeah.
Now you're playing at 11:30 at night in a game that really shouldn't matter, and you're taking it serious like it's Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. People are getting in fights and everything else.
Oh, jeez.
But I loved it, man. I miss that a lot. I miss playing ice hockey.
Yeah. Youth. It's wasted on the wrong people. All right, let's get to the phone line, see what people have to say. We got Ben on the cell. Ben, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, buddy?
Hey, Bob. How you doing, man? Huge fan.
Oh, cool. Thanks, Ben.
And, Bill, I appreciate you getting me through the weekends now, man.
I appreciate you listening, Ben.
So, a couple things, man. Joe, first of all, I'm not worried about him, man. I don't know why, but for some reason I keep going back to, I guess there was a second interview when he came back. Not his very first interview when he came back was I don't feel well. And then there was the second interview where he talked about, he's in a great place mentally. He's not distracted by the MVP race. Something about that interview, I mean, the best way to say it to you is I really believed him when he was talking. And that's hard to do nowadays in sports. Like, everybody talks around things. So I just think he needs to get a little bit, ramped up a little bit more, and I think he'll be okay, though. And then the other thing is that whole Heat game. For me personally, I know, every time we play the Heat, it's a gritty game. They play us tough. They got that zone defense. But going into that game, even you, Bob, you were, nervous, and then got talked into having the confidence. I think I became overly confident going into that game because of the hype of it. And then to see them play the way they played in the first half, it's just hard for me to take my focus off of how bad the first half was.
Yeah, it was. Ben, thanks so much for the call. Really appreciate it. Hope you have a great weekend. Yeah, that first half was ugly. I mean, ugly as ugly could be. Not paying attention, getting a turnover, throwing the ball right into Jimmy Butler's hands a couple of times, not being able to recognize, not that he didn't recognize it, like, that Nick Nurse practiced against that zone. But that zone was different. It was just everywhere, and the effort was really good by Miami in that zone. Second half, maybe Jimmy Butler with the knee. Maybe he wasn't effective in his part of that zone, and the Sixers exploited it a little bit. But whatever it was, that second half, we can't deny 66-53. The Sixers blew them out in that second half. It was a 1-point win, yes. But if you look at it, it was a 13-point second half where they scored 66. I think we have to take away the positives of that more than the negatives of that first half, right, Bill?
Yeah, would you rather have them played better in the first half and bad in the second half and lost the game? Me personally,
Yeah, right.
I'd rather them play well down the stretch like they did. But Ben made a great point, and we've talked about this on this show before. When Joel talked about that MVP race and said how toxic it could be, and he was happy to not be in that discussion, I believed him too, and I did think that he was going to be in a better headspace going into this playoffs. And look, I don't want to make excuses for the Sixers because they should have come out better in the first half against the Heat, but I mentioned this yesterday. A lot of these guys don't have a lot of playoff experience. That was a playoff game. I know they called it play-in. It's a playoff game. Maybe it took them a half to just ramp up. Not that that's good that they needed a half to ramp up, but maybe they're ready now. This is the playoffs. They know what to expect. Teams are going to play tougher. They're going to play better defense. They're going to play more physical. And they got it together, and they did what they had to do. And like you said, dominated the second half. Absolutely dominated it.
Yeah, and the great points are you had Joel Embiid have a great fourth quarter. You had a dominant third quarter, which you needed after being down by, 12 at
12
half?
at the half.
And you come out and you get 30 points combined from Nick Batum and Buddy Hield. There's your depth. I mean, there's a lot of good places to look in that win on Wednesday night. Dantes in Bethlehem. You're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, buddy?
What's up, boys? What's happening? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you.
Thanks, man. Listen, a win is a win is a win, okay? I had my buddies calling me up about, 1.5 quarters in, all upset, and I said, guys, calm down. Let's see where this game's at with 2 minutes to go, all right? We figured it out. We beat Miami Heat. Now we're up against the New York Knickerbockers, right? Now, Joel Embiid's game, in my opinion, guys, as long as he's making quick decisions and the ball's not in his hands for too long, he's trying to dribble, play that mid-range game, get your back to the basket at times, just play big and make quick decisions, and we win the series in 6. Simple.
Series in 6. I don't mind that, Dantes. Appreciate your call. Thanks. No?
I like the idea of winning the series in 6, and you gave me a number yesterday. I'm going to give you a number today.
All right.
9. I don't think you're going to get it.
And it has specifically to do with the Sixers and the Knicks?
Specifically to do with the Sixers and the Knicks. The number is 9, but I'm going to give it to you.
Okay.
It's going to take 9 days to play the first 4 games of the series. To me, that is huge for Joel Embiid and this Sixers team. We talk about Joel and is he conditioned? Is that knee healthy? The fact that they're only going to play 4 games in 9 days, to me, is a major advantage for the 76ers.
Yeah, I did. I brought that up on the front page, and that is a big advantage. I agree with you, Bill. I think that's good. There's the question that I posed to you before we get to another caller here. Is Joel Embiid's the type of game that you find easier maybe to stop in playoff series-style defenses?
So maybe in some respects, yes, but not when your supporting cast is going to do what they need to do and hit their shots. We need Joel Embiid to do what he did in that fourth quarter, which is find Kelly Oubre on that beautiful pass. So if they want to really focus on shutting Embiid down, we need these other pieces to step up, and it can't only be Tyrese Maxey. That's why Nico Batum having the 20-point game was huge for this team. Kelly Oubre's got to show up. We need Buddy Hield to hit his three-point shots. So I think if they do want to focus on shutting down Joel and you say, hey, maybe it's a little easier to shut him down in a playoff series, well, then he's got to be a facilitator.
Yeah, and he can do that. His assist totals, we've seen it all throughout the year. That pass that you brought up to Kelly Oubre, phenomenal. Great job by Oubre holding off Jimmy Butler on his back, and just a wonderful pass. We saw it last week where Embiid had his back to the basket. He was kind of on the right wing and threw a one-handed pass out to the right wing. I forget what might have been Hield. But a beautiful pass through the defense for a three, or it might have been Batum. I'm not sure. But, hey, yeah, he's more than capable to be a facilitator. You're absolutely right on that, Bill. Chris in Delaware, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's going on, Chris? Chris, you there?
Sorry, I was just trying to get you on speaker.
That's right.
I can't tell you, before I make my main point, what an awesome thing it is to be able to sync Tom McGinnis with the TV. I mean, I was pretty to the party tech-wise, but to be able to use the Odyssey feed through a Bluetooth speaker is just awesome. I switched over in the second half, and, hey, it won the game for us.
So it was you who won the game, Chris?
I did that in the San Antonio game, too. You know, yes, it was me. Yeah.
All right, good man. Make sure you start it on Saturday, all right?
Right, yeah. I'll do the whole game on Saturday. So I'm going to not say anything groundbreaking here, but, you know, the difference between this team that we all hope and the teams of the past in the playoffs was fully on display. I think the first half was pretty much, I texted a buddy and said, you know, simply said, you know, sum of all fears in the first half. You know, everything that could possibly go wrong did go wrong, you know, and it was just dreadful. And, you know, the fans were booing them, but there's dogs on this team now. And I talked earlier about the veterans on the team, Batum and Lowry, you know, just willing these guys, you know, to keep playing. And you know, eventually the superstar, you know, the cream rose to the top, you know, Maxey and Embiid especially. You know, Embiid was superhuman in the fourth quarter, fighting through the injury, you know, making those shots. And,
yeah.
And the three-pointers, you know, that one shot that he made off the offensive rebound falling backwards, you know, from like 10 feet, you know, that's pure Embiid.
And fouled at the same time off of an offensive rebound. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate the call. Chris hits on a lot of really good points. Does negativity stick out to us more than positivity? Like, does that, Bill, you brought it up great. Like, does that first half stick out to us more than the second half? Does, you know, whatever.
It's the way we've been jaded by this team. That's what it is. I think you look and you see that first half happen, and it confirms your fears about this team being something similar to what you've watched for 6 years. I think that's why it sticks out to people. One, it was the first thing you got in this like postseason stretch, and two, it's something that you feel, oh, here we go again. They can't find anything offensively. Oh, they're turning the ball over. Oh, it looks like they're being outdone by a team that I expect them to beat. I think it almost confirmed your fears about an organization that you've bought into so many times, and you've been, you know, left wanting and desiring more from them so many times. I think that's why it sticks out to people. People have been jaded by it.
I hate to say this. I really do hate to say this. But get ready to feel that way an awful lot with this series coming up. I'm serious. I think this is going to be a tough-ass series. And I'm not huge. I don't love giving predictions. I'll say how I truly feel, but we're going to have to do it at the end of the show today, Bill. I'm still not there yet. I'm still not there to say exactly what I think. I told you last week how much I didn't like this matchup So I'll have to wait until like 1:45 to see how I truly feel. Hey, the 10 o'clock hour is brought to you by Window Nation. Take advantage of Window Nation's 50% off sale on all style windows. Plus, make no down payment with no payments and no interest for 12 full months. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. All right, we get back. A lot more Sixers talk going on with these New York Knicks. I have some numbers that we want to break down along with Bill. All that and a whole lot more. If you want to chime in, 610-632-0975. I will put this question out there for the day. Give me one word that you think is going to describe this upcoming series against the New York Knicks. This is Midday Show. Bill Colarulo joins us all day long. Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic.
The best show ever. Opinion and conversation on Philly's hot sports topics. Tyrone Johnson, Ricky Batalico, and Jeff Gordo. weekdays.com.
Hey, welcome back, or thanks for joining us here as we approach the 11 o'clock hour. And at 11 o'clock, we are going to have Andrew Salciunas, John Kincade, Tyrone Johnson, Ricky Batalico. They're all going to flood this studio. And we're going to have a roundtable for about an hour. Or I shouldn't say roundtable. But we're going to talk about Sixers Knicks for about an hour and get everybody's thoughts in here all at once to see what you think of that series. Hey, the Fanatic Deal of the Week, Big Kahuna's Water Park. That's right. Splash into fun with the Fanatic Deal of the Week. This week only, get 2 general admission tickets for Big Kahuna's Water Park in West Berlin, New Jersey for just $35. That's 2 tickets for just the price of 1. Get this exclusive offer while supplies last at 975thefanatic.com. All Sixers, all Knicks, all day long. That's what we're talking about. You have the coaching matchup. Bill, you had some numbers on these coaches that kind of, I guess it would make you feel good if you're a Sixers fan?
I think so. We talked about Embiid. Can he elevate his performance from the regular season to the postseason? But when you look at the coaches, Nick Nurse has always been able to do that. Tom Thibodeau's teams have not. Nick Nurse in the regular season has a winning percentage of .581. In the postseason, .610. You look at Tom Thibodeau, regular season, .575 winning percentage. In the postseason, .431.
Wow.
And I compared him to you off the air saying, John Tortorella effect with Tom Thibodeau. A lot of people say Tortorella and the Flyers, what he does to his teams is he grinds them so hard during the regular season that when the other teams elevate their game, his teams just can't get there. Similar to Thibodeau, you look at the way he grinds his teams. You said it earlier. He wants 48 minutes of hard-nosed basketball. Well, they really can't. They don't have anything left in the tank to elevate when the playoffs come. So we'll see if that can be a good omen for the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah, Ray and I were talking about this yesterday, and I think you were there, Bill, actually, about in 2012, I'm covering playoff game number 1 in Chicago. There's about a minute and a half to go. The Bulls, number 1 seed, are up on the Sixers by like 18 points, maybe even more. Minute and a half to go. I turned to Sam Smith, one of the greatest columnists ever to cover basketball in this country. And I turned to him, who's sitting next to me. I said, Sam, why do they still have Derrick Rose? As I didn't even have the full sentence out. And right in front of us, Derrick Rose landed and let out a scream and grabbed that knee. Sam grabbed me by the arm. He's like, oh, my God, Bob, you were just – to this day, whenever I see Sam Smith, it comes up. I asked him about, well, why? He said, that's who Thibodeau is. It's got to be to the end. You go, and to the end. I've talked to some people around the league. That's tough to be around all the time. So I wonder, and I'm going to pose this question to the guys when they come in at 11 o'clock. Is there a decisive advantage here as far as coaching goes in that you have one coach that's having his team play as best as hard and all of that as they can for 82 games? Or is there an advantage to a coach that has barely seen this team that is now assembled, and he's still trying to, I don't want to say figure it out, but he's still meshing them together as these playoffs go on? Is there a decisive advantage in your mind?
I'm going to give the advantage to Nick Nurse. And what I've seen from him, number one, we've seen past playoff success. He won an NBA title with the Toronto Raptors in 2019. Barely saw that team together, and he figured it out. And you just saw him. We talk about whether or not we should be encouraged or discouraged after that Miami Heat game. Spoelstra is one of the best coaches in the NBA. Nurse did what he had to do to make the adjustments in the second half, changed the lineup, went with Batum instead of Tobias Harris, made the changes necessary to win that game. So I'm giving the advantage to Nick Nurse.
All right, fair enough. You there, Ray? Thumbs up? Like you more of an advantage for Nurse in this series than
absolutely
Tom Thibodeau?
Absolutely. I think the 76ers absolutely have the coaching advantage in this one. I think that, and that's something to watch, something I haven't felt probably in a series that feels like this magnitude of how good these two teams are in quite a bit. So I think that's a massive thing for this one. I think the idea of Thibodeau grind down his teams, probably true. I think we've seen about the ceiling of what the potential of this Knicks team is operating at full capacity.
But if you get the right people, and maybe like this Villanova contingent is that if you get the right people that balls to the wall 24/7, 48 minutes a game, all that, maybe that works. I don't know. I love teams that play hard all the time, but there's something to say about going 82 games. That is tough. Jamal in North Philly, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Jamal?
Hey, how you doing? The word that I have for the Sixers Knicks series is domination.
Oh, for who?
For the Sixers, obviously, and I'm gonna tell you why. So Nick Nurse basically said when he finds something that works, he's gonna put it in a tuck for the playoffs. The playoffs here. Teams can't scout us. We look bad against Miami because they threw that zone. The zone makes everybody look bad. You can't run your plays. You got to swing the ball. Obviously, they could have did a better job. And in the zone, you get the ball. Either the man is there. If he's there, you drive past him, call the help, kick it out. If he's not there, you take the three. Why they couldn't figure that out, I don't know. Maybe they saw a different zone that they was planning for. But long story short, Thibodeau is a very good coach. Nick Nurse is a very good coach. The thing is, we can scout them because they showing you what they're going to do in the playoffs is what they've been doing all season. Us, not the same. The thing with Nick Nurse, you say both coaches tend to grind their players down. Nick Nurse never had a choice because of the roster he had. He gets everybody involved with the Sixers. He's not grinding anybody. Embiid played 3 quarters. He backed a little bit, but he's young. You get what I'm saying? So domination. And I also believe that the Knicks is going to underestimate us because of how we looked against Miami, which is only because of the zone.
Jamal, great call. Thanks for calling in. We appreciate it. Great points there by Jamal.
Great points, but when he says that they couldn't figure out how to beat the zone, it didn't help that they shot 33% from the field in the first half. They were 3 of 18 from three-point range. So he talks about, hey, kicking it out to the open three. They just weren't hitting their shots early either.
Yeah, it did. It looked bad. It didn't feel right. Jamal had a great point of ball movement wasn't really there. They seemed confused. There was one time Joel Embiid caught a pass and just had his back to the basket, and somebody just poked the ball away from him. I think it might have been Jimmy Butler.
It was Jimmy. Yeah.
And then, they just go down for a simple layup down the other end. That's something that can't happen. I read a stat this morning, Bill, which was interesting, and that was these two teams are number 1 and number 2 in the NBA at taking shots with under 6 seconds left in the shot clock. Not number 1 as far as percentage or anything like that, just number 1 and 2 as most times doing it.
I saw that, and it said that in the playoffs, that happens a lot where teams, because they get tougher on defense, you start taking shots shot clock, which usually your field goal percentage goes down because they're less quality. But are these two teams more prepared now because they've done it all here?
Yeah, could be. A lot of good stuff coming up with this Sixers. All right, when we get back, we have everybody coming in studio. It's going to be a party in here as we're going to go for an hour around the table to talk about this Sixers-Knicks series. We have Tyrone, we have Ricky, we have John, we have Andrew. We're all going to be in here. I got a lot of questions I want to throw out at them. They're going to have a lot of answers. Hopefully they're answers you like. We'll see what happens with all of that. This is Midday Show. Bill Colarulo joining us today. Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
NBA playoffs start this weekend. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by Juicy Juice. Juicy Juice is 100% juice, which means no sugar added and no artificial